This is my week 6 reflection paper on age adultism. As the oldest, I've grown into a role that functions almost like a third parent in my family. I make sure that my siblings are taken care of, whether that means using my own money that I earn from my part-time job to help them get what they want and what they need, or offering knowledge and support that they can't get elsewhere yet because I'm one of their available resources and maybe they haven't gotten that like confidence to go extend and ask for help outside of home. I understood from a young age that I needed to take on this role for my siblings' well being, but that understanding started with a moment when no one took on that role for me. When I was little, I had a bad stomach ache, and I told my parents I wasn't feeling well, that I thought I needed to go to the hospital. They assumed I was being dramatic and that having it checked out was unnecessary. I remember sitting with that pain being brushed off, not because my parents didn't care, but because they didn't take a young child's account of their own body seriously. I settled in the hallways of our home, displaying my discomfort without stop, and my younger siblings, too, could see that their older sister was being different than usual. It wasn't until later that night, when the pain had gotten so severe that my parents finally took me to the emergency room. That's where they found out I had appendicitis. If we went an hour or two later, this organ was very close to rupturing. That experience changed something in how I saw my role in the family, even young. After that, I made a point to tell my parents to take my siblings seriously whenever they said they weren't feeling well, not to assume it was exaggeration or an attempt for attention. I had lived through what it felt like to not be believed because of my age, and I didn't want my siblings to have to reach the same point of pain before someone listened. I said to my parents, if they, meaning my siblings, felt unwell, you must have them checked out, and don't force them to go to school if they have a fever. Those were examples of how I spoke up. Looking back, that moment marked an early shift in how much power I was given, or like the power that I gave myself within the family. Before the appendicitis, my words about my own body wasn't enough on its own. Afterward, I became someone whose judgments about my siblings' well being was trusted even though I was still a kid myself. This connects to some of this week's resources, and a resource from week 1. Samarov's ice cream cone in a can model from week 1 framed the balance of power between adults and children as something that should shift over time and circumstance, which is close to what happened in my family after that night. My judgment started to carry more weight than it had before. Cray's piece on adultism, the everyday ways that adults dismiss or underestimate a young person's own accounts of their experiences, mirrors exactly or almost exactly what happened to me before the ER visit, when I was being dismissed as dramatic rather than believed. Brown's article on a principal changing her approach after really listening to a student connects as well, since it's about an adult shifting how much weight they give to a young person's account was similar to how my parents' approach changed after that night. I don't feel resentment towards my parents about it even now. I don't think I ever did. I understood it came from not expecting a young child to accurately judge their own pain, but that night is still the clearest example I have of when my age changed what I was allowed to do. Um, yeah. And first being dismissed of it because of it, and then afterward being trusted more because of what I had lived through.